tell that you have been showing up, you've been creating content, but sometimes you feel like it's just not working at the level that you truly want it to work. Now, sis, I do not want you to go and spiral from this. I don't want you to go make stories around the fact that, hers works like this. Why doesn't mine work like this? This must mean this is not available for me. Or feeling like you need to throw in the towel, you need to give up, this is not for you. Or just being in a space where you're not only constantly comparing yourself, but you're also overworking yourself. You're trying to overcompensate. So you're like, no, I just need to show up more. I just need to show up 10 times more than I'm already showing up, even though I'm already exhausted and I'm tired and I feel like the thing isn't working. But let me just keep doing more of the thing that I'm doing, expecting a different result. Let's talk about this. If you are a business owner who's using your content to attract clients and generate leads, for your lead generation efforts, if you are using it to be able to make sales and grow your community, grow your reach, create more impact, right? If you feel like your content isn't meeting those desired income and impact and influence goals, then I want to let you know it may actually just be the messaging that you're putting inside of the content. And so when you don't put as quality of a message inside of your content will not perform and produce at the level that you truly want it to. So let's talk about the difference between messaging versus content, because they are different. They are not the same. My hope is that you take these content tips and you incorporate this into your content strategy, your brand messaging strategy, and you start to witness how much it's going to amplify your impact, your reach, your visibility, but also improve your content performance so that you're producing high quality content that goes to the exact audience that you have intended it for, that you've created it for, and you get that momentum and all the things that you desire from it, including your impact and your income goals as well. First, what is really the difference between messaging versus content? So messaging truly is the overarching communication strategy. Messaging is the way that you communicate your brand's identity, right? So who you are, who your brand is, and what your brand mission is, right? What's the purpose of this work that you do? And then we step into a space of really getting clear on who your target audience is, right? So who is it you want this message, this work that you do, this mission to serve and support? Okay. Then we want to go into your value proposition. So really stepping into a space of deep clarity around what is it that you do? How do you help your, clients and your community, your audience? And what is it going to do for them? Being able to communicate that in a way that not only positions its value, but also positions how it's different, right? What differentiates you from the next person that they could go to for this service, or the next brand that they could go to for this service? All of that combined allows us to have effective messaging elements that allow you to create what I call your power message, because it includes everything that it needs to really hone in on exactly who it is you want it to reach and help them make the decisions of like, listen, I want to engage more with this brand. I like this brand. Tell me more about what you offer. All of these things. So that's messaging. And the reality is you want that to be consistent and cohesive. So when you look at something like your content, right? If you don't have consistency with your brand messaging, if you don't have clarity at the level that you truly need, right? And you can always get deeper and deeper in your messaging. If those things aren't there, then the content that you take that messaging and put it into is going to be subpar. It's never going to perform at the level that it truly can perform because the messaging isn't all the way there. So this is why you will see women at year 1 working on their brand message. And guess what? You will see women at year 5 working on their messaging, and year 10, and insert numbers in between. Some of my best clients actually do messaging refresh once a year. Some do it once a quarter. You can do yours twice a year. You can do yours at the frequency that feels right for you, but do know and trust and believe that your messaging is always expanding and it's always going deeper. That's why I really love working with my women inside of the Money in the Message Inner Circle, because I get to be by your side as you grow and you expand and you evolve. And what you've learned about the core client that you want to work with in year 1 is different from the person that you realize you want to work with in year 2 or 3. You start to realize new things about that customer, about that client, about that community and that audience. And so we want to infuse that into the next levels of your messaging. So your messaging is always expanding, but the foundation of it should be solid and should be there so that you can have a cohesive foundation that's then going to go into the content. That is going to save you from having random content that talks about this one day, this one day, this one day, and nothing is cohesive. And your people are like, I don't really know what I need to come to her for, because she talks about like 10,000 different things, and some of them I need, some of them I don't. But this person over here, ooh, they talk all about the thing that I most want help with, and I'm going over there because I have more trust and belief in their system, process, whatever it is, based off of the consistency and the clarity in their messaging, which then is transformed into their content. Now, content really is specific materials that your brand, creates and distributes, right, throughout your platforms to your audience. It can be different formats. It can be, different lengths of time, all the things, right? But really, if you think about it, your content is the information that you are giving. You're giving value to your audience through this information that you're distributing to them, right? To inform them around your brand, who you are, what you do, how you can help them. You help them see pieces of themselves in it so that they can connect with it and build that relationship, build that rapport. And then you go into a space where you're able to continue to nurture them, right? Your content is continuing to nurture them, to build that know, like, and trust factor, to build that relationship, like I said, to drive engagement, and ultimately to drive them to the desired action that you want them to take, aka your call to action, your invitation, your offer, your program, service, event, whatever it is that you're selling. So your content is allowing them to learn more about you and to literally be nurtured along the journey to making a decision on whether or not they want to come and spend their money with you and invest in working with you to help them in whatever it is that you help and support them with. Now, I have a whole content to client series and playlist. We'll make sure that we link that for you. There's multiple videos in there. And I really talk about how to take your subject matter expertise and how to create content from it that leads back to your offers. I show you my whole process, or at least a little snippet of the process. A lot of women have told me, Kierra, this is gold. So, I break that down. And this is really the process that my clients and I use to turn our subject matter expertise and our framework and what it is that we do into content that actually leads back to our offers. I've made multiple six figures using this process, and I want to share it with you. So go ahead after you watch this video first, because I want you to be clear on what the difference is of messaging versus content. Plus, at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you, some content performance measures and things like that I want you to pay attention to. But definitely check out those videos in that playlist after you watch this video here. I talk about the power of messaging every day, all day. I don't think I need to remind you of the importance of messaging, but just in case, okay, I want you to think about this. Let's say we're making a salad, okay? Now, I love me a good salad. I'm a crunch girl. Tell me in the comments, what are you? Like, I'm all about texture, so I love crunch. So there is nothing like having fresh greens, whatever greens you're putting in your salad. I don't care if it's kale or you're using spinach or you're using romaine lettuce or whatever it is, whatever you're using in your salad, that crunch is everything to me, okay? If we're using wilted greens, wilted cucumbers, they're mushy, everything is just mushy about the salad. Who wants to eat that? Like, you ever put your dressing on and you wait too long and then your salad gets mushy? Like, that's gross. Okay, that's just for me. I accept you if you like yours like that, but for me, I don't desire that. But when I get a fresh salad, it's all green, everything's ripe, everything's fresh, it just feels so amazing going in my body. I want you to think about that for your content and your messaging. The ingredients that you are using to create that salad is going to determine how good, how effective, how tasty, how yummy, all the things that salad is. Plus, the nutrients are there most, right? Versus it being super old, stale, not good salad. When you think about your messaging and your content, it's the same thing. The messaging that you put into the content is going to dictate how much it gets to, perform for you, how good or not so good it gets to perform for you. So if we're putting wilted messaging into our content and we're expecting a fresh, vibrant, amazing, crunchy, all the things, salad, we're not going to really get that. Kierra, how do I amplify the quality of my messaging, right? My ingredient. So first and foremost, I want to call you to a space where you really take time with your brand message vision. I did a whole video on this. We will share that with you. You can go check that video out, and I walk you through an exercise to actually determine what is your next level message vision and even how to assess your current messaging right now. And so in summary though, before you watch that video, after you watch this one, of course, I want to just remind you that sometimes if we're just doing something to do something, when it's not really grounded in the true intention and vision of the thing, then the thing actually doesn't go produce what we want it to produce, because we kind of just made it up. We kind of just like at a whim, like did it or whatever it is. But when you can have true intentionality behind the content that you are creating, where you're sending people to, what it's talking about, who it's meant to speak to, all of these things, that is going to be the number one thing that you can do to help you amplify the quality of the messaging. So first and foremost, step into your next level brand message vision. Again, I have a whole exercise on that in that next level vision exercise and video that I will share with you here. Once you have that next level brand message vision, so that you truly have the big picture of the intention of this content, of what you wanted to do and why you wanted to do it, then the second thing we want to go into are actual measure points. Now, there's two different angles that I like to look at this. First and foremost, I call this your messaging measurement points, okay? This is something I love asking my clients when they come into Money in the Message Inner Circle, because everyone has different things that they want their messaging to do. You know, some of my clients, well, I should actually say all of my clients, right? Mostly everyone has a measure point of making money, right? That's the most obvious, especially if you're a business owner creating content, right? You want it to lead back to your offers and your program services, etc. Did this generate money for me? Did I get clients for this? So yes, that's probably going to be most of your, messaging measuring points. But here's the trap that I find a lot of women fall into with that. You have to sit and you have to think about, okay, if the message didn't necessarily get me clients and make me money, okay, then I see a lot of women throw all of it away. And then when they come in, they're like, oh, we have to start from scratch. And I'm like, well, actually, let's quantify if we actually do have to do that. Because what we start to do is we start to find elements of the messaging that actually worked, but there's other elements that weren't right. So if you go back to the salad example, you had some wilted vegetables and some that were okay. So we don't have to throw the whole thing. Well, now that we've mixed them all, we may have to throw it away. But if we can catch you before we start to mix them all and we just literally separate them before you put your dressing on it and all that, and then you're able to literally see, okay, I don't have to start from scratch. I would say 95% of my clients, we do not have to start from scratch. I just have a keen eye of being able to determine, ooh, no, this still works, but this is off. And we just have to make this small tweak or this simple tweak. And then we're just going to add this and bring them together. And bam, the content performs at 2 to 5 times better. Okay. So that's what we want, is just to optimize the content. First and foremost, when you're thinking also about your messaging measure points, you have to determine, am I a business owner creating content to lead back to my offer? So you're going to be focusing on things like sales and clients. We've already talked about that, but also referrals. You also want to pay attention to, did my community grow? Did my email list grow, right? Did I gain new subscribers and new opt-ins, right? Did I go into a space of increasing enrollment to, maybe a lower ticket offer that I have, right, before it leads to the bigger offer based off your business model? So you want to be looking at conversion rates, of course, but you also want to look at those other points as well. Is it actually allowing me to connect with people that I truly want to be connected with? Am I getting visibility opportunities, PR opportunities, speaking, podcast, teaching, etc.? So you want to look at those points of your business. Kierra, I'm not a business owner. I'm just creating content. I'm just a normal content creator who really just creating content to build a community, maybe to sell other brand stuff, but not necessarily your own stuff or your own subject matter expertise. There's nothing wrong with that, but you may not look at all those points that a business owner might be looking at. So you might be looking at shares and likes and comments and follows and all that stuff. Now, I just like to say, I tell my people, that don't make you money necessarily as a business owner. Okay. I'm talking to my business owners. And what I mean by that is I've had clients who hired me who had way more followers than me. But you know what? They came telling me, Kierra, I cannot convert these followers into actual paying community members, into my programs, my events, my workshops, my this or that. They don't buy my course. They're not buying my program at the level that I truly want them to make, right? So first and foremost, be clear on who you are. You just a normal content creator who's just like, I just want to be popular? Nothing wrong with that. Or are you like, I'm a business owner. I want to connect with the right people, not anybody. I want to connect with the right people and I want to get them closer to making the decision to come into whatever it is that I sell. Once we do that and we get clear on what your messaging measure points are, there's a couple others included in there. Like for me, energy is very important. So one of my measure points is, how do I actually feel about the content that I'm creating? How do I actually feel about the messaging that I'm putting out? Does it feel right for me, etc.? You can have different measuring points. That's something, if you're in Money in the Message, definitely this week, bring it up on a call if you want to talk more about that. And just let us know in the comments too of this video, what are things that are really important to you when it comes to your messaging. So I just share with you a couple of my measuring points when it comes to my messaging, which are basically, yes, does it convert? Does it lead to sales? Does it, lead to clients? But also energetically, does it feel right for me? Some others are, is this sustainable for me? Things like that. So make sure you think about that for yours. We have a list of them for those that are members that we can definitely share with you as well to help you kind of clarify what yours are, because my love, that is going to give you so much intention and really ground you in your messaging efforts. So instead of you always feeling like, okay, the thing isn't working, we actually get to see, okay, it's actually feeling right for me. It's feeling, sustainable for me. This part is working. Maybe this part needs to be tweaked. Now, let's go deeper into figuring out what parts of the content specifically need to be tweaked. So if you have my Next Level Messaging Workbook, you can actually get a copy for free. And so we'll put that link inside the description. Basically, around page, I believe it's like 32, something like that. Around page 32, I talk about the 3 C's for messaging for content that converts. Okay. So let's break this down. If you want me to do a full video on this, let me know in the comments. Do a video on 3 C's in the comments. But in short, here's why I created these 3 C's. So I would find that so many women would be in a space where they were like, the messaging doesn't work at all. Like I said, right? And then I would help them fine tune it. So here's one way that we do that. We look at, yes, conversions. What is the messaging and the content that converts the absolute best? And so, yes, that's easy. And that's why so many women are quick to say yes or no, it's doing that. And then when it's not, they just toss it. And then they waste a lot of time going to create more stuff, but they just keep doing the same thing, right? They think that it's different, but it's not, because it doesn't have the other 2 points. And so you just keep putting out the same type of content, right? The same type of thing, the same type of messaging, and you're not really fixing anything. So what I started to do was go through a couple different layers. So yes, converting it, the messaging, the content converting is one of them. But here's 2 other ones that you can use. C number 1 is actually connection. I want you to ask yourself, does this particular message actually connect with my audience? And again, not anyone in my audience, but my true most aligned audience, the ideal clients and community members that I truly want in my space. Does this messaging actually connect with them? So it's yes or no. There's an assessment and more on this inside the workbook. I'm just going through it really quick, okay? Make sure that you grab a workbook so that you can do this for yourself and dive in. Then number 2, number 2 is curriculum. Is this messaging and is this content positioning my curriculum? Is it educating them on what it is I do, on what's different about my process and my framework? Does it showcase and highlight my methodology and the most powerful parts of my work, et cetera, et cetera? Does the messaging actually connect with my audience, and not just connect with anybody, connect with the right people? Because sometimes you'll find that, it's connecting with people. People are reaching out to me, Kierra, but then you're like my client actually, who was like, okay, Kierra, when I first came in, the thing was connecting with people. People were booking calls with me. People were DMing me, reaching out, commenting, all that stuff. But then on the back end, I realized they were not the right people that actually were ready to invest in my offers, okay? So that's the difference between it connecting with anyone versus it connecting with the true clients that you really wanted to connect with. So that's connection. And also, does it connect with me too? Then number 2, am I actually, because I'm a business owner, I'm a subject matter expert. There is something that I do that's really amazing, that is incredible. I have some level of expertise and or experience that I'm using to make money, to, share with my clients and my community members, and help them. Okay. So am I actually positioning that inside of my content and inside of my messaging? Okay. So if you're not doing that at the level that you truly want to, then we definitely want to look at your framework. We want to look at the transformation you help your clients provide. And that is something I would be happy to help you with inside of Money in the Message Inner Circle. So definitely check out the link in the description so that you can get more information about Money in the Message, because we do that every day, all day long. Okay. Because that is like the number one thing that I see missing from a lot of my clients' messaging is that, in content, is that they're just putting out any and everything and nothing actually gets centered back to actually positioning their expertise. That, my love, is how you start to amplify your visibility, but also your authority, right? You start to establish your authority in your industry. You start to scale that, etc. If you feel like, again, maybe one of your messaging measurement points is like, let's say visibility things like getting booked for speaking or podcasts or stages or whatever it is, paid or free, right? If that's not happening at the level you want, or if you keep getting free ones and not getting paid ones, right? Then you need to look at, am I actually positioning and highlighting the most powerful parts of my work? And am I putting curriculum, language and messaging inside of my content? Then number 3 is converting, right? Yes, the conversions, making the money, all of the things, the sales language, all of that. And so I hope that helps you, right? In understanding, is the messaging selling and getting me clients? Yes or no? If it's no, let's look at these other points as well before we just jump the gun and ship, go somewhere else, go stage left, and then you start putting out more random stuff. Again, we don't want to keep doing, what is insanity? Continuing to do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. I hope that those 3 C's help you. And let me know in the comments if you already can tell one of the C's that you might be missing in your messaging and content. And definitely grab that workbook so you can dive deeper into those. So speaking of connecting through your messaging and your content, one of my most favorite things to talk about is deepening your connection with your clients through your messaging. But in order to do that, you have to be in this space of deep clarity with who you're actually talking to. If you're talking to 5,000 different people, then that means that the messaging and the content that you put out, it's going to leave some behind. So you have to be intentional about focusing on who you most want to call in and speaking to them so that they are the ones who mostly come in. All right. And then you worry about anybody else after that. Okay. Our focus is your most ideal aligned client, who you feel most called to talk to. This is actually a screenshot I'm going to put up from a client of mine inside of the program. She posted this, screenshot, and she's like so excited because she's like, literally within hours, Kierra, this has worked. And she's like, people didn't just like it or comment, or how many of y'all, like I said, that don't pay bills, the likes and the comments and all that. No, I don't care you liking my hair. I look cute today. Thank you very much. Did you see what I'm talking about, right? So she's like, Kierra, they actually booked calls with me. They actually booked consultation. So you know what? I'm actually going to share my screen. Let me break down a couple of examples to really showcase this to you. There are a couple of examples I'm going to share with you on, clients that have been in programs with me who I have coached through elevating their messaging. Okay. It can be simple, small tweaks. But again, we want to be focused on who is the highest level client that you want to be working with. Who do you feel most called to be speaking to? So here's a before. Okay. This is a client who shared, hey, if you're looking to start your business, I have a checklist to help you. Comment below. So this is going to attract people who are starting their business. If this particular client of mine, right, was in a space of, Kierra, I keep calling in people who haven't necessarily started their business yet, but I'm saying that I want people in my program who have already started a business. Well, guess what? You didn't say that. So on the flip side, we want to shift that to, hey, if you're looking to scale your business and double your revenue this year over last year, I have a checklist to help you increase your sales. Comment below. So, one, are we still going to attract some people who may have just started a business? Yeah, they'll go ahead and comment. You know why? Because they want to be over here where this person is. But for sure, we are going to also call in people who have already been in business and want to scale. If I'm a person who's already been in business and wants to scale and increase my sales, this right here is not going to attract me. So I'm going to keep scrolling right on past. Another example. Now, I didn't want to give all my clients content and all that just for, respect, but I just wanted to share with you literally just an opening line. So before she had, when you're struggling with making money, and then there's other stuff, right? So over here, it's talking to someone who's struggling making money versus over here, she really loves to work with women who are successful, right? They are already, making 6 figures in their business or close to 6 figures in their business or in their career. A lot of times her clients are in a space of transition where they've, gotten a raise, they've come into an inheritance, they have, acquired money, a large sum of money, right? And they're kind of like, what do I do with this money now? And so she's going to help them, tapping into their next level money mindset, tapping into the next level of how they manage their finances. That woman is not, I'm struggling with making money. She's like, no, I'm not struggling with making money. My struggle is managing money. So we could even make that the shift. Hey, when you are struggling with managing your money, or something like, hey, you're making good money on paper, but maybe you feel like you're not managing it as powerfully as you could. Let's talk. That's even different than you're struggling with making money. So hire me to be your money coach to help you stop struggling with money and all the things, versus what she ended up putting was like working with 6-figure earners with little to no, blah, 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 blah. Right. So even just stating, hey, you are already a 6-figure earner. And so, here's what I tend to see when I'm working with women who already earn 6 figures. I always see that they struggle with this, 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 this. So that's different than this post here. You see, like, these little small but powerful tweaks in your messaging help direct who you're actually speaking to. But if you're not clear on your like true core client, and that's what I'm helping my clients do inside of the Money in the Message inner circle, I'm helping you get deeper into who not only who is your ideal client, who is your next level ideal client. Okay. And here's even an example of that. So there's a next level of who you want to work with. I had a client who said, Kierra, I feel like I attract people who, aren't necessarily the right fit for my work. And it can be through your messaging where you're actually repelling that next level person. So an example of this, maybe someone who says, want to build the confidence to write your first book and finally tell your story. Now, there is nothing wrong with talking to the people in the left side of the slides that I'm showing you. There is nothing wrong with that. All I am stating is you have to be clear with yourself. Is that who I'm wanting to talk to? Is my program for people who are writing their very first book? Well, then I need to talk about what are the struggles that happen when you're writing your first book. This is actually examples from one of my clients that I've been able to coach for a couple years, who is a book coach. All right. I've actually had a couple book coach clients. Okay. Versus if she's telling me, Kierra, no, I want to attract women who are actually more advanced. So, hey, are you ready to release your next book and do it with even more ease this time around? This wouldn't speak to the person who's on their second or third book, right? Whereas this right here might still bring in some of the people who are new to the book game, right? But it's not going to repel the people you actually want. Does that make sense, y'all? Let me know in the comments. And we could even go, deeper from here, but this is actually the truth of my client that I'm pulling this example from. Maybe she wants to work with women who are using their book to amplify their authority in their industry. So we could even shift this even more. Like if we wanted to go ultra next level client, we may say something like, hey, you built a 6-figure, 7-figure business and brand, and you're ready to amp up your PR and your visibility. You know that having a book that positions your authority is going to help you do that even more powerfully. Let's go ahead and work together so that we can, create this book for you that's going to position your authority, position your expertise, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You see the difference in that, y'all? Okay, let's keep going with more examples. Again, small but powerful tweaks. Nothing wrong if we're talking to this person over here. Hey, you need to build the confidence to have luxury and give yourself permission to have luxury, versus I have a client who does luxury travel and luxury, private jet services for her clients. And so, talking to someone to get them to build the mindset and the confidence and, oh, do I get to have a private jet? I didn't even know that was available to me. That's going to be a different conversation. Again, if you want to work with women or men, right, individuals on amplifying their mindset around luxury, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also a different woman who doesn't need that. She's already like, I already got permission for a life of luxury. I don't need nobody, to tell me I get to have luxury. I already do. But now I need somebody to go handle this private jet service that I need, or whatever that might be. All right. And then another example, this particular client of mine actually was in the program and started to ask questions about, hey, like, I feel like I'm attracting people who are getting on the phone with me, right? But when they come, they're not ready to make the investment. And so I gave her some feedback on some of her specific language. And, we want to call out the difference, right, between a person who sees expert mentorship as a cost and an expense versus a person who sees it as valuing the investment. So in our language, we may say something like, hey, I know that you need help with X, Y, and Z. I'm super excited to help you with that. And what I know is that you are an individual who values investing in yourself. You value hands-on support. You value personalized feedback. You value a tailored experience that's specific to you and insert whatever you do, right? So if I'm helping you with your website, you value having a website expert who is going to, handle all of the back end of your website so that you have no questions, you have complete confidence, your brand is building your digital presence, et cetera, et cetera. Or if you're someone who's helping somebody as a financial coach with money, right? You may say, hey, you value investing because you want to have the complete confidence in, how you're using your money, how you're managing it, what you're allowing your money to go do for you. You want to learn from an expert who can help you 2x, 10x, 20x your investments, et cetera, right? So talking to a person who values investing in themselves, they value showing up for themselves, versus like, hey, if you added the expense and added it to your budget that you need help with this thing, or hey, you have already decided that you are going to get the support. You've already decided that you do not desire to do your website by yourself. You've already decided that you have, worked your money as powerfully as you could up until now. And now you're ready to learn more things about investing. You're ready to learn more about this, and you want someone by your side to help you. You don't just want to stay on YouTube and get a bunch of stuff for free. You actually want someone to help you, in my case, with your messaging. You don't want to just watch this video. You want me to sit down with you and say, hey, such and such, I would shift this right here to this right here. And I would also add in this, and this, because I know this about your framework. I know this about your client. I know this about you and how you want to work. Or even if you take your business model. I was literally just working with a client. She's offering some things in her program that she thinks that she has to offer to be able to charge more. And it's like, no, you don't like offering those things, but I know those things about you. So now I'm giving you hands-on tailored feedback. That's not going to happen in a YouTube video. That's not going to happen in a course. That's not going to happen in a PDF. That's going to happen because you actually come and you get support, which, I always want to remind you all to come inside of Money in the Message so that I can give you hands-on support for these things. And then one more example. So you want to start your career as an influencer or a content creator on YouTube. So this was actually me talking to another program member and, shifting this to, hey, you already are in business and you already create content to call in clients, but now you want to leverage your YouTube. You want to leverage your podcast to elevate your business, to have more evergreen content, right? And so look at that different shift. This one is going to call in any and everybody who just wants to start a YouTube. This one is, hey, I'm specifically talking to those who already have a business. Again, both of them are great. There's nothing wrong with either of them. But if this client is complaining, and not complaining in a bad way, but just like, oh my goodness, why do I keep attracting people who just want to start a YouTube? But they don't really have a business and a brand. That's what I specialize in, is how to use YouTube for your business. So that, hey, because you said this, now we need to go specifics to this individual. All right. So just as a reminder, you definitely want to come into Money in the Message. This is an example, a very small one, of actually the messaging and content clinics that I do for my clients. So it's literally me looking at your content, looking at, messaging that you submit. I actually have a couple that I'm actually about to go record now. And I share my screen just like this. And I say, hey, I would tweak this. I would add that. I would, move this around. Here's what I would, include, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely check out Money in the Message, the Inner Circle. And here's just a really quick example of when I'm coming in and doing different clinics and giving my clients feedback. I don't do short, hey, that looks great. Awesome. Great job. No, I'm giving you very specific, to you, feedback on what it is that you do. And then these are examples of during the clinics when I am sending you, hey, I looked at your, page or your freebie or your, program or your messaging on this or that, and here's my feedback. So this is an example of what you would get back from me, when you're in the program, the type of support that you get that's very tailored to you, hands-on and detailed. I hope that supported you and even gave you some things to think about. I would love for you to comment below this video to let me know which of the 3 C's could be needing the most support and attention right now for you. I'd love to also hear what are some of your messaging measure points that are really important to you. In addition to making money in sales and clients, what else is important for you when it comes to your messaging? Okay, so make sure that you go ahead and share this video with a biz bestie, a mastermind sister, accountability buddy, another woman who wants to shine more powerfully, purposely, and profitably in her message too. And until next time, sis, love, shine, and success in life, business, and everything in between. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, love.